The pH of a solution is used to indicate the acidity of a solution. It measures how acidic or basic a substance is. Has values that range from 0 to 14, representing the hydronium ion concentration of a solution. Is acid when the values are less than 7, is neutral when it has a pH of 7, and is a base when the values are greater than 7. The beer process starts with the mashing process. In this process, milk grain are mixed with water and put into heat to allow enzymes in the malt to break down the starch in the grain into sugars. After mashing is the lautering process, which is the separation of the extracts won during mashing from the spent grain. Then it passed to a lauterton, which is the traditional vessel used for separation of the extracted wort. Then it will be boiled. Boiling the won extracts ensures its sterility, and this prevents a lot of infections. During the boil, hops are added, which contribute to flavor and aroma compounds to the beer. At the end of the boil, the wort is set into a whirlpool. The so-called teacup effect forces the more dense solids into a cone at the center of the tank. Then is fermentation. As a step in the brewing process, this is the point in which the product is first called beer. It is during this stage that sugars won from the malt are metabolized into alcohol and carbon dioxide. After fermentation, the liquid is called green beer. It needs now to be mature to allow the development of flavors. After reaching its full potential, the beer is filtered, carbonated, and transferred to the bright beer tank. This process has a duration of 3 to 4 weeks.
For the fabrication of beer, it's really important the pH, because before we start manipulating the pH in the compounds that we have, we need to know that water is neutral. The water it has 7, and when we add hydrogens that are positive, it becomes more acidic. So the beer is an acid, but it's just between these two ranges that two can be drink. But to have the exact pH that we need to drink that alcohol, it's calcium, magnesium, carbonate, and carbonate. But the most important of all is calcium.
The pH in the beer production. This is really important to beer because without the pH, we couldn't drink the delicious beer we will drink when we have 18 years. So, we know that the acid of the pH is from 0 to 7. Once it reaches 7, it's neutral, and from 7 to 14 is the base. The pH, how I said, is very important on the beer. The range from the pH of beer is from 4.0 to 4.5. It can vary from 4 to 5, depending if it's dark beer, clear beer, or larger beer. As a good professor said, the final pH of the beer gives you flavor and taste, and if you can keep track of that, this is how you make quality beer.
The consequences of changing the pH in the beer process: water and grain. In the first step, it has to be adjusted the brewing water pH. It is heated and mixed with millet grain to produce mash. With melted barley, changing the pH in this step can affect the enzymes during the mash and wouldn't ensure the proper conversions of starches and degradation of haze that cause proteins. In the second step, filling the kettle, changing the pH in this step can affect in great quantity because lower pH decreases hop utilization but improves bitterness, while higher pH increases hop utilization and the harshness of battering compounds. In fermentation, yeast is added to the cooled wort, and in the presence of oxygen, fermentation begins. As yeast utilizes sugars in the wort, the pH of the beer is reduced to 4.1 to 4.3 ranges. The lower pH is normal with most yeast strains, but an overly acidic beer may show signs of infection from acid-producing bacteria, dropping the pH into the 3.4 to 3.7 range.